Hi, my name is Gibson, and I am the owner and founder of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and if you receive a ton of value from this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, and please visit www.personaldevelopmentschool.com for online courses, in-person courses, all kinds of cool tips, videos, tools, everything. Thank you so much for watching. So today we are going to talk about, let's find our subconscious programs. So why do our subconscious programs matter in the first place? Well, we have two core subconscious program sort of features that are dramatically impacting our lives. So the first one is we have a lot of needs-based programs. So we're sort of wired more or less for 6 basic human needs. And these needs are certainty, uncertainty, growth, contribution, significance, and love and connection. And based on the perception of a void, so based on what we perceive to be most missing, or what we perceive to have a lot of and then it went missing, and that was really painful, our brain will develop certain priorities within these needs. And it will also develop specific subconscious methods and strategies for achieving these needs. So for example, let's say that I have a really high need for love and connection, and let's say that my method or strategy primarily for achieving these needs is family. Then I'll have a really strong focus on family, and I'll be wired and driven a lot by anything family oriented. And I will subconsciously sort of perceive this as part of my identity. And so you might hear somebody say, oh, I'm such a family man, or you know, I'm the mother of 2 kids, and and they're always talking about their family. And what this is feedback of is sort of their subconscious drivers and programming on the needs side of things. Now, the other major umbrella that falls in the subconscious mind is our belief-oriented programming. So beliefs are really, really important. And they're sort of impacting the way we see our reality. So we don't really see reality as reality. We see reality through a filter of previously stored associations. So you can take 2 people and you can put them into a room and they will see a totally different reality without even, you know, taking any action or speaking to anybody in this room. Let's say it's a room full of people. Because of their previously stored associations. So let's pretend that one person has been bullied in the past and they've had some really negative experiences around people and they go into a crowded room. Versus let's pretend somebody has, you know, always felt extremely comfortable around people and loving and social and gets energized by people and they're really outgoing. You know, they're going to have this positively oriented emotional experience based on their beliefs around people. And somebody else will have a negatively oriented experience based on their beliefs and previously stored associations, right? And so beliefs are really creating emotions that way. And again, we're not seeing reality as reality. We're seeing it through all of our subconsciously stored associations from the past. So how does this impact us from this umbrella of programming? Well, here's the really interesting thing. Beliefs create thoughts. So let's pretend that I believe that people don't like me. If I go into that same room full of people believing people don't like me, I'm going to have all these thoughts like, oh, that person's judging me. Oh, they're coming near me. Oh, why is that person staring at me? Right? So that belief is going to be like a tree trunk. And all of these branches are going to come off of that tree trunk that are relative to, you know, sort of fearing people or thinking that, oh my gosh, you know, why is everybody staring at me? Oh, I'm afraid of talking to people and I'll go in the corner. Why are people looking at me when I'm in the corner? I should be ashamed that I'm in the corner, right? So that belief will be the tree trunk. People don't like me. And that belief will create all these thoughts, which will sort of be like all these branches. And these thoughts create emotions. Okay? So think about it. When you're believing all these scary thoughts about people and you're hiding in the corner, that's creating stress response, right? So a stress response. So let's flip this for a moment, and let's say that we have positively oriented beliefs. Let's say we're the first person that walks into that room. If I have positively oriented beliefs, like, wow, I can't wait to talk to people today and learn and grow and explore and ask questions, and, you know, you're having positively oriented neurochemical reactions because those feelings that you're having are literally made up of neurochemical reactions. So think of this. So your beliefs are the tree trunk, your thoughts are the tree branches, and your emotions are the leaves on the tree. Okay? So the belief that people love me and I get along with people and I am comfortable around people if I'm on the positive side creates positive thoughts, the tree branches, and positive emotions, the tree leaves. And emotions are made up of neurochemical reactions. So if I have positively oriented beliefs, thoughts, and emotions, I have positive neurochemical responses like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin when I'm bonding with people, all these different things. And if I have negatively oriented ones, I have a stress response. So maybe I have a lot of cortisol flowing throughout my body at that time. And what's really incredible about this is that when we look at depression and anxiety, for example, and I'll talk a lot about this in other videos, but when we look at depression and anxiety, nobody's born with depression and anxiety. And so what happens is we collect, since we see reality through that filter of our previously stored associations, we collect these beliefs as we go through life, and the brain is hardwired, just on a side note, to collect more negative associations than positive because it's trying to protect ourselves from everything that can go wrong. So we'll sort of like hyper attune and worry about the worst case scenarios because then we can protect ourselves from them. Like if we were in a forest being chased by tigers, or whatever, years and years and years ago, our brain can go, oh my gosh, be careful, you know, over there is the tiger pit. And we can remember, I don't know why I said tiger pit, I'm just making these things up. We can remember where to watch, you know, what to watch out for. And so it serves us from a survival perspective originally. But now we just go through this experience in day-to-day living where, you know, some of the survival-oriented brain stuff is not serving the highest expression of ourselves emotionally. And so we really want to take a close look and you know, take a belief inventory to see what's serving us and what's not. Because again, beliefs create thoughts, thoughts create emotions, emotions are made up of neurochemical reactions, okay? And so if you have these patterns of beliefs that you're always reliving, then you're having patterns of thought and emotion. This is all occurring at a subconscious level, so it will feel like you're in a space of learned helplessness. It will feel like you can't change your emotions. And you'll keep living these patterns enough to the point where you'll subconsciously just see them as a part of your identity. And you'll identify with them, and you'll come to believe that you are a person who just is sad or just is anxious or just is, as opposed to realizing, hold on a second. And furthermore, you know, when you look at what antidepressants are, there's SSRIs or SNRIs. SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They help to regulate serotonin in the brain. But they're treating like the surface symptom that is coming after the beliefs and the thoughts and the emotions, which are made up of and triggering those neurochemical responders. So responses. So if we're not in charge of our beliefs and thoughts, then yeah, we have to put a Band-Aid solution on the surface symptom. But really, you know, negative emotions are a symptom of unresolved negative beliefs and thinking. And so your emotions are always letting you know when you're out of alignment. Now look at this next part. Our emotions, neuroscience has also proven that every single decision we make is emotional. Okay, a neuroscientist named Antonio Damasio made this discovery. You can look it up. So think about how that really impacts you in your life. Your beliefs are literally impacting your actions. And this is happening all the time. And think about how many automatic actions we perform because of emotions that we're not aware of, or emotions that we have learned helplessness when it comes to controlling or changing them. How many times have you pushed away somebody because you were afraid of something and then realized that, you know, the person didn't do anything wrong, and it was just this sort of story you were running in your head? Or how many times have you eaten food when you're stressed without even being hungry? So this emotion, the stress or the fear of the person or the stress triggers either the push away or the just eating food. And so we have these automated sort of actions that are a response to our emotions. And for those of you who are like, well, I'm a really logical, rational thinker, that may be true in a context, but at the tipping point, your decisions are emotionally based, and then you're rationalizing and justifying through logic is basically what's going on. So I'll do a lot more videos on some of these topics specifically, but our subconscious programs have such an impact on our lives. There was a study done at UCLA that said, and Dr. Bruce Lipton talks a lot about this as well, that roughly 90% of our experience of our lives is subjective. So it's based on that filter that we're seeing our reality through. It's based on the stories we're telling ourselves and the beliefs and thoughts we're having and the emotional reactions that those are creating, the actions that we're taking accordingly. And roughly 10% is the actual content that's impacting us. And, those are, sort of estimated numbers in this study, but think about the magnitude of that. Think about what that says. And here we are as human beings trying so hard to control our external reality when it's really the internal reality that has the greatest impact. So, statistics also show, if you've ever seen that iceberg diagram, how they compare the conscious and subconscious mind to an iceberg, where roughly 3 to 5% at that tip of the iceberg is our conscious mind that's responsible for our lives, and then and then the 95 to 97% underneath is like the subconscious and unconscious mind, and there's sort of a little pre-conscious space in between there. But if we are not aware of our subconscious programs, we are just limited to trying to control things externally and repeat patterns of behavior, and it's a very limiting way of living, in my opinion. So here's how to get in touch with some of your subconscious programming. Here's what I love to do. Write categories. If you have a pen and paper, write categories for the following, okay? And put them like across a piece of paper. So you would write romantic relationships, men, women, body, food, friends, family, joy, trust, safety, career, money, spirituality, mind, and emotions. And do what you want. You don't have to put all of those on there if you don't want to, but this is a really thorough way of taking belief inventory. And then ask yourself, number one, what stories did I hear? And the reason I'm going to ask you the first 3 questions is because we get programs in these 3 ways. We get programs auditorily, so from things that we heard. We have behavior modeling programs. So we saw our parents or, important caregivers or people in our lives sort of creating habits or actions or behaviors, and we learn to model these behaviors. So maybe you always saw mom getting mad at dad, and so you get mad at people that way, right? So we've got the auditory programs, behavioral modeling programs, and then we have our experience programs, which are really sort of the strongest programs that we have because they tend to create the deepest emotional imprint, and our subconscious is so programmed by emotion more so than repetition or language or any of that. Side note. So what stories did I hear? What behaviors did I see modeled would be question number 2 under those categories. Number 3, what experiences did I have? And look for the negative ones for now. You can do work on positive ones in a different video, but we want to work on wiping out the negatives first. So what experiences did I have and what beliefs did this create would be number 3. And ask yourself which programs served you that you saw and which ones caused you pain, and then look at, from the ones that caused you pain, what does your life look like in 10 years if you don't reprogram the ones that caused you pain? So after you've written these out, really take inventory. And our beliefs, again, shape the trajectory of our lives more than anything. So look at, okay, let's pretend that when I go to my category on men, I believe that men don't have feelings or men can't be trusted. And this sounds funny and there's some humor there, but I've met and worked with a lot of people who truly have these programs and are very strong about things like this, or women are always so catty, or women have crazy mood swings all the time and they're impossible to be with, or women can't be trusted and women don't have feelings. You hear everything. Women are so manipulative, everything. And people really believe these. And what we don't do is look at, wow, how does that hurt my life if I never change that program? How does that help me open my heart to people if I don't change that program? And what does my life look like in 10 years if I've just relived or entered into relationships or friendships with these programs running? So take a thorough look at that because it matters. And look at what have these painful programs cost you thus far. Okay, that's a good one too. And once you've found all of this and had this sort of belief inventory, please check out my video on how to equilibrate and release painful programs. And you'll get to dive into the work of doing these things and create massive transformation at a subconscious level, which will seriously impact your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. It really impacts and changes the entire trajectory of your life in such a powerful way. So please do this work. Please check out that video. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more daily breakthrough videos. And please feel free to visit www.personaldevelopmentschool.com. Thank you so much.